If you truly understood the power of your focus, you would guard it with your life, because your life, right now, is not shaped by what you wish for. It is shaped by what you consistently think about, dwell on, and return to. Your reality isn't built by effort alone. It's built by attention. Where your attention goes, your energy follows. Where your energy flows, your future grows. And here's the truth most people never realize. The universe is not responding to your words. It's responding to your focus, not the sentences you speak when you're motivated, but the thoughts that repeat when you're silent, not the goals you post online, but the identity you feed in private. Your dominant focus, the thought you return to again and again, is the architect of your world. If your focus is on fear, life will show you more to be afraid of. If your focus is on lack, life will confirm the absence of opportunity. If your focus is on what's missing, life will continue to subtract. But when your focus shifts even before your circumstances do, your world begins to reorganize itself in response. This is not fantasy. This is not optimism. This is law. The law of dominant attention. The law that shapes destinies. The law that builds legacies. So listen closely. Your mind is not just observing reality. Your mind is broadcasting instructions to reality. And what you hold in your mind with clarity, conviction, and consistency must eventually appear in your life. Your job is not to force results. Your job is to aim your focus. Because what you focus on, the universe will provide. Now we begin. There is a law operating in your life right now. Whether you are aware of it or not, it is not a law written in books, enforced by governments, or taught in schools. It is deeper, older, and far more precise. It is the law of dominant focus. This law states that whatever you hold in your mind as your primary focus will eventually shape your reality. Not occasionally, not sometimes, but always. Your life is the echo of your most persistent thoughts, not your passing wishes, not your short-lived motivation, not the things you say you want, but the thoughts you rehearse day after day in the silence of your own mind. This is why two people can live in the same world under the same conditions and have completely different outcomes. One sees obstacles, the other sees opportunity. One sees scarcity, the other sees abundance. One sees reasons to quit, the other sees reasons to continue. The difference is not in circumstance. The difference is focus. Most people do not lose because they lack ability. They lose because their focus is pointed in the wrong direction. You become what you repeatedly look at. You walk toward what you consistently think about. Your subconscious does not care whether your dominant focus empowers you or weakens you. It simply obeys. If your mind is full of fear, your life will produce hesitation. If your mind is full of doubt, your life will produce limitation. If your mind is full of resentment, your life will produce stagnation. Because your mind is not just a storage unit, your mind is a broadcast tower. You are transmitting a signal every second of your life, and the universe is responding. Your thoughts are creative instructions. So the question is not, what do I want? The real question is, what am I constantly focusing on? Because that is what you are actually asking the universe to deliver. You say you want love, but do you focus on connection or on the ways people have hurt you? You say you want success, but do you focus on opportunity or on the fear of failure? You say you want wealth, but do you focus on abundance or on your lack? What you focus on expands. What you feed grows. What you repeat becomes real. And here is where most people sabotage themselves. They treat their focus casually. They allow the world to choose it for them. The news chooses it. Social media chooses it. Other people's opinions choose it. Random emotions choose it. They live in reaction, not intention. Their attention is open, unguarded, vulnerable, and as a result, their life is shaped by randomness, not purpose, but a man who understands the law of dominant focus takes back control. He stops letting external noise dictate his internal reality. He becomes a filter, not a sponge. He asks himself, does this thought strengthen me or weaken me? Does this belief expand me or limit me? Does this focus build my future or sabotage it? And he adjusts accordingly. This is where self-mastery begins. Not with trying to change the outside world, but with changing the center of attention inside your mind. Because the world you see is not what is, it is what you are tuned to notice. Let me give you an example. If you buy a new car, a specific model, you suddenly start seeing that car everywhere. But those cars were always there. You simply weren't focused on them before. The same is true with opportunity, with solutions, with growth, with wealth. They are always around you, but you only notice them when your focus is aligned to receive them. This is why people say success feels like luck. It isn't luck. It's focus activating awareness. The universe does not hide opportunity from you. It simply waits for your mind to become capable of recognizing it. And recognition comes from focus. So understand this, your job is not to force results. Your job is not to chase outcomes. Your job is not to beg for progress. Your job is to direct your focus with consistency, clarity, and conviction. Because when your focus changes, your frequency changes. And when your frequency changes, your experience changes. This is the law of dominant focus. It is not metaphor. It is mechanics. It is not spiritual poetry. It is psychological architecture. It is not motivation. It is identity. You become what you repeatedly focus on long enough to believe you already are. So ask yourself, what am I building with my focus? What am I feeding with my attention? What am I inviting into my future through the thoughts I hold today? Because your life will not be shaped by your intentions, but by your dominant focus. And from this point forward, you will focus with purpose. Your attention is not just awareness, it is energy, a measurable, living force that moves through your life and shapes your experience. Every thought you give attention to receives power. Every belief you return to gains weight. Every fear or vision you dwell on begins to grow. Attention is the currency of creation. What you consistently feed will eventually take form, not because of magic, but because your attention directs your decisions, your behavior, your emotions, and ultimately your identity, and identity shapes destiny. This is what most people never understand. You are not drained because life is hard. You are drained because your focus is leaking. You spend your mental energy worrying about what you cannot control. You spend your emotional energy replaying what already happened. You spend your spiritual energy comparing your life to someone else's, and then you wonder why you feel exhausted without progress. It was never your work that made you tired. It was your scattered attention. Your power has not left you. It has simply been misallocated. You must begin to see your attention the same way a wealthy man sees money. Where you invest, it matters. Where you waste, it matters. Where you withhold, it matters even more. Because attention compounds. If you give your focus to fear, fear compounds. If you give your focus to doubt, doubt compounds. If you give your focus to resentment, ressentiment compounds. But if you give your focus to possibility, possibilities multiply. If you give your focus to growth, growth accelerates. If you give your focus to purpose, purpose expands. You do not need more motivation. You need to redirect the flow of your attention. Think of your life as a garden. Whatever you water grows. Whatever you stop watering withers. So look at your inner world honestly. What have you been watering? Have you been watering excuses, watering limitations, watering memories of who you used to be? Or have you been watering the vision of who you are becoming? Because it is impossible to live a powerful life while feeding powerless thoughts. This is why controlling your attention is the foundation of self-mastery. The one who can command his attention is the one who can command his outcomes. Most people let life choose their focus. Their focus is controlled by whatever is loudest, closest, or most emotional in the moment. Notifications, drama, news cycles, opinions, distractions dressed as urgency. Their mind is a public highway open to everything, owned by nothing. But the man who understands attention builds gates. He chooses which thoughts enter and which thoughts are denied. He does not entertain every emotion. He does not respond to every noise. He does not chase every impulse. He understands a critical truth. Not everything deserves your attention. Not everything earns the right to shape your life. And so he becomes intentional. He spends less time reacting and more time creating, less time consuming, and more time building, less time worrying about outcomes, and more time aligning his energy. This shift from scattered attention to directed attention is where transformation truly begins, because when your attention becomes focused, your energy becomes concentrated. And concentrated energy is power. Look at a magnifying glass. The sun has been shining every day of your life, but it has never set anything on fire. Why? Because the light was scattered. But when you give that same light direction, when you focus it, it ignites flame. Your life works the same way. Your potential has always been there. Your ability has always been there. Your inner fire has always been there. It just hasn't been focused. Yet, you are not lacking strength. You are leaking it. And the moment you learn to direct your attention consistently, deliberately, decisively, everything changes. Your clarity strengthens. Your confidence grows. Your emotional discipline sharpens. Your presence deepens. Your results accelerate. This is not positive thinking. This is energy management. And the man who manages his energy will always outperform the man who wastes his attention. So from this moment forward, understand this. Your attention is your power. Your attention is your influence. Your attention is your creation force. Guard it. Aim it. Direct it with intention. Because what you give your attention to, you give your life to. There is a mistake almost everyone makes when they set goals. They think success comes from doing more effort. More motivation, more grinding, more action. But the truth is far simpler and far more powerful. You don't succeed because of what you do, you succeed because of who you become. Identity comes before outcome. Identity comes before achievement. Identity comes before wealth, confidence, discipline, and growth. Your actions are a reflection of your identity. So if you try to change your actions without changing who you believe you are, you will always return to your old patterns. You can force yourself to wake up early for a few days. You can force yourself to focus for a week. You can force yourself to grind for a month, but discipline that is forced will always collapse. The only discipline that lasts is the discipline that comes from identity. The man who believes he is disciplined does not have to force himself to take action. He simply acts in alignment with who he is. So, hear this clearly. Your focus is not just shaping your results. Your focus is shaping you. Whatever identity you feed with your attention becomes stronger. If you focus on your doubts, you strengthen the identity of someone who hesitates. If you focus on your fears, you strengthen the identity of someone who avoids risk. If you focus on your past failures, you strengthen the identity of someone who expects to lose. But when you focus on vision, your identity begins to expand. When you focus on growth, your confidence begins to rise. When you focus on what is possible, your reality begins to shift. This is why the universe does not respond to your wishes. It responds to the identity your focus produces. You cannot become wealthy while identifying as someone struggling. You cannot become powerful while identifying as someone weak. You cannot become focused while identifying as someone easily distracted. The shift must happen internally first. Identity is not a dream. Identity is a decision. You decide who you are every time you choose what to focus on. The world has taught you to wait for results before believing, but that is why most people never change. The weak mind says, I will believe I am successful once I see success. The strong mind says, I believe I am successful now, and I will act accordingly until the results appear. This is what every truly powerful person understands identity leads. Reality follows. You must walk like the man you intend to become. Speak like him. Think like him. Make decisions like him, not later. Now, if the man you are becoming wakes up early, then you wake up early. If the man you are becoming protects his focus, then you protect your focus. If the man you are becoming chooses discipline over impulse, then you choose discipline. You do not wait for evidence. You create evidence by becoming the evidence. This is identity shift, the real engine of transformation. And here is the secret. Once your identity changes, your habits no longer require effort. They become automatic, natural, aligned. The man who is disciplined does not negotiate with himself. The man who is focused does not feel conflict about what matters. The man who is becoming great does not wonder whether he is capable. His identity makes the decision before the situation even arrives. So ask yourself honestly, who am I becoming? Not in theory, not in desire, in action, in attention, in focus. Are your thoughts aligned with the man you are rising into, or with the one you are trying to leave behind? If you want a new life, you cannot bring your old identity with you. Release the identity that made you small. Release the identity that depended on approval. Release the identity that feared judgment and failure. You are not defined by who you used to be. You are defined by who you choose to become now. And the universe does not respond to the man you were yesterday. The universe responds to the man you are becoming today. Most people live their entire lives reacting to what they see. They wake up, look around, and let their environment decide their attitude, their thoughts, their expectations, and their actions. If things look good, they feel confident. If things look difficult, they feel discouraged. If progress is visible, they move forward. If progress slows, they begin to doubt. This is the mindset of the masses. Circumstance first, vision second. But the man who shapes his destiny reverses the order: vision first, circumstance second. Because circumstances are temporary, vision is eternal. Circumstances reflect the past. Vision constructs the future. If you allow circumstances to dictate your focus, your emotional state will constantly shift. You will rise and fall with every obstacle. You will be strong one day and uncertain the next. You will move forward one week and retreat the next. This is how potential is wasted, not through lack of desire, but through lack of inner stability. Vision is the anchor that keeps you unshaken. Let me make this simple. The builder does not look at an empty field and give up. He holds the blueprint in his mind. He sees the structure before a single brick is laid. The farmer does not stare at bare soil and despair. He sees the harvest in his imagination long before the first seed breaks the surface. The champion does not wait to win before believing he is worthy of victory. He believes first. He embodies the identity first. He prepares as though the outcome is already his. This is not delusion. This is alignment. The universe does not reward those who merely observe their circumstances. It responds to those who impose vision upon circumstance. You must stop asking life to give you proof before you commit. Commit first. Then the proof will appear. Your current situation may not look like your vision yet. Good. It's not supposed to. Growth requires the gap. The gap is where identity is forged. The gap is where discipline is sharpened. The gap is where belief becomes unshakable. If everything aligned instantly, you would never develop the strength necessary to sustain the life you are building. So do not resent the gap. Walk it with certainty. What you see right now is not the full picture. It's just the starting frame. Your bank account is not your destiny. Your current environment is not your destiny. Your past habits are not your destiny. Your old patterns are not your destiny. Your vision is your destiny. Hold it. Feed it. Return to it daily. Even when nothing is changing on the outside, especially when nothing is changing on the outside. Because there is a law working in the background, consistency of focus eventually forces physical reality to comply, not because of magic, not because of luck, but because your focus shapes your decisions. Your decisions shape your behavior. Your behavior shapes your identity. And your identity shapes your world. This is how men rise. Quietly, patiently, relentlessly. When you feel discouraged, return to the vision. When you feel tired, return to the vision. When the world doubts you, return to the vision. When results stall, return to the vision. The vision is your fuel. The vision is your compass. The vision is your foundation. Your circumstances are the weather. The vision is the mountain. The weather changes. The mountain stands. You are the mountain, not because of where you are now, but because of what you continually choose to focus on. This is how you transcend your environment. This is how you outgrow your past. This is how you break generational patterns. This is how you build a life that once felt impossible. You stop letting the world tell you who you are. You stop letting current results determine your future. You stop looking at the visible and start building from the invisible, because the man who lives by circumstance will always be controlled by circumstance. But the man who lives by vision controls circumstance. Most people believe they are thinking for themselves. They believe their beliefs are their own, their mindset is self-created, and their worldview is a product of personal reflection. But that is rarely true. Your mind is always being shaped either by intention or by exposure. And the average person is not intentionally shaping their inner world. They are simply absorbing whatever is around them. Your environment is programming you. Every voice you hear, every conversation you entertain, every piece of content you consume, every room you sit in, every person you let close, all of it is sculpting your identity, not in one moment, but slowly, subtly, relentlessly. Just like water reshapes stone over time, this is why two people with the same potential can end up with two completely different lives. One is surrounded by people who speak growth, responsibility, focus, and purpose. The other is surrounded by people who speak doubt, distraction, complaint, and limitation. They live in different mental climates, and environment always wins. You cannot plant a seed of greatness in poisoned soil and expect it to flourish. You cannot build a disciplined mind in a chaotic environment. You cannot unlock abundance while living in a circle that worships scarcity. Your environment is not neutral. It is either aligning you with your future or anchoring you to your past. So ask yourself, who are you giving the power to shape your mind? The shows you watch, the social feeds you scroll, the people you complain with, the ones who tell you to be realistic, the friends who celebrate distraction more than progress, or the voice inside you that is trying to rise. Your environment has already been programming your identity. The question is it programming you into your potential or away from it? This is where self-mastery begins, not by forcing discipline, but by eliminating what destroys discipline, not by trying to stay focused, but by removing what hijacks focus, not by pushing harder, but by removing the things that weaken you. Growth is not always about adding more. Sometimes the breakthrough is in subtracting. Subtract the noise. Subtract the gossip. Subtract the people who drain you. Subtract the habits that dull your edge. Subtract the environments that numb your purpose. Expand by refinement, not by accumulation. Because your environment is not just influencing your thoughts, it is influencing your identity. Sit around people who complain, and complaining becomes normal. Sit around people who numb themselves, and self-avoidance becomes normal. Sit around people who speak in limitation, and shrinking becomes normal. But sit around people who talk about building, and building becomes normal. Sit around people who move with conviction, and conviction becomes natural. Sit around people who are disciplined, intentional. Hungry and rising becomes inevitable. You don't rise alone. You rise with the environments you choose to inhabit. And here is the truth many fear to admit. Some of the people you love cannot walk with the version of you that is coming. Not because they are bad, not because they don't care, but because they are committed to staying the same. And when you choose growth, your evolution will confront their comfort. You will make them uncomfortable simply by becoming more. Do not shrink to make others feel safe. Do not dim your focus to match their distraction. Do not apologize for wanting more. Your future is too important. You must decide, do you want to protect other people's familiarity with who you once were, or do you want to become who you were born to be, because you cannot do both? Your environment is the training ground of your destiny. Guard it, shape it, curate it relentlessly. Your focus depends on it. Your identity depends on it. Your future depends on it. The universe answers the man who places himself in environments that match the life he is building. The world will not elevate you until your environment does. There are things in your life right now that are draining your power, not because they are dramatic, not because they are obvious, but because they operate quietly, subtly, consistently. I call them energy thieves. And until you remove them, no amount of discipline, motivation, or strategy will save you, because greatness is not built only by what you do. It is built by what you stop giving your energy to. Your focus is your fuel, and energy thieves bleed that fuel dry. Let's make this very clear. You do not lose because you are weak. You lose because your focus is divided. Your attention is being pulled in 100 directions. Your mind is being stretched between the future you want and the habits that keep you small. Your spirit is leaking through conversations, routines, environments, and emotions that do not serve the person you are becoming. So we must get surgical. We must identify and eliminate the thieves. 1, the thief of distraction. Distraction is not entertainment. Distraction is self-abandonment. Every time you scroll endlessly, every time you numb yourself with meaningless input, every time you escape instead of confront, you are training your mind to avoid your life. Distraction kills more dreams than failure ever will. Because failure teaches, distraction erases. You cannot become focused while living in constant escape. 2, the thief of comparison. Comparison is the silent poison of identity. It convinces you that your journey is behind. It convinces you that your pace is too slow. It convinces you that your voice is not enough. Comparison disconnects you from your path and attaches you to someone else's timeline. Listen carefully. You are not competing with them. You are becoming you, and there is nothing more powerful than someone who is fully themselves. 3, the thief of gossip and low-value conversation. Your words are the script you write for your reality. So when you gossip, not complain, or speak in negativity, you reinforce the identity of someone powerless. You are too powerful to waste your voice on small talk and small minds. Stop speaking like someone waiting for life to happen. Speak like someone building life with intention. 4, the thief of emotional reactivity. If your emotions control your attention, your life will always be chaotic. Reaction is the enemy of direction. A focused man does not let every feeling dictate his path. He feels, but he does not obey every feeling. He responds from identity, not impulse. This is emotional self-mastery. 5, the thief of the past. Some people are not tired. They are carrying years they were meant to release. Regret, bitterness, resentment, old identities, old failures. These are weights that do not make you stronger. They keep you from rising. You cannot climb while dragging a life you already outgrew. Free yourself, not for them, but for who you are becoming. Removing energy thieves is not comfortable. It requires honesty. It requires boundaries. It requires discipline without applause. But understand this truth: your power does not increase by addition. Your power increases by elimination. When you remove distraction, you gain presence. When you remove comparison, you gain direction. When you remove gossip, you gain clarity. When you remove old wounds, you gain freedom. You do not need to become more, you need to become less divided, because when your energy returns to you, your focus returns to you. And when your focus returns to you, your power returns to you. There is a version of you waiting on the other side of this chapter. A version of you who is sharp, grounded, clear, unshakable, dangerous in the best way. Not because he tries harder, but because he no longer leaks energy. Eliminate the thieves. Guard your focus. Protect your power, because what you feed will rise, and you are feeding your future now. Most people believe focus is something you either have or you don't. They think it's a personality trait, a talent, a gift some people are born with and others are not. That is a lie. Focus is not a gift. Focus is a muscle. And like any muscle, it can be built, strengthened, trained, sharpened. But here is the truth that separates those who master their lives from those who drift through them. Focus is not built in big heroic moments. Focus is built in small, ordinary decisions repeated daily. If you want to know how strong your focus is, don't look at what you do when you are motivated. Look at what you do when you are bored. Look at what you do when no one is watching. Look at what you do when the excitement fades and the work becomes quiet. The weak mind chases stimulation. The strong mind builds endurance. The weak mind says, I don't feel like it today. The strong mind says, feelings are not the captain. I am. This is the foundation of self-mastery. A focused mind is a trained mind. A trained mind does not run after every impulse. A trained mind does not surrender to distraction. A trained mind is obedient to the vision, and the training begins here. 1, hold attention longer than comfort. Most people lose not because they lack talent, but because their attention span is too weak to stay with anything long enough to see results. They start, they stop, they try, they quit, they get excited, they lose interest. Their focus is shallow, and shallow focus builds shallow results. But when you learn to hold your attention, even when it's uncomfortable, you begin to develop mental endurance. Endurance is power. 2, repeat what matters until it becomes. Automatic repetition is how identity is installed. You don't read once and become wise. You don't train once and become strong. You don't commit once and become disciplined. Repetition carves identity into the nervous system. Every time you choose the vision over distraction, your identity strengthens. Every time you follow through when you're tired, your identity strengthens. Every time you show up when no one is applauding, your identity strengthens. Repetition creates identity. Identity sustains discipline. Discipline produces destiny. This is the real sequence. 3, stop expecting focus to be effortless. The reason most people never build strong focus is because they think it should feel natural. They think the focused mind is always calm, always inspired, always clear. But training focus is resistance work. Just like building muscle, You push, you strain, you hold, you continue, even when you don't want to. That is the training. Focus doesn't grow in comfort. Focus grows in resistance. 4. Understand that distraction is training to just training in the wrong direction. Every time you choose distraction, you are strengthening the muscle of quitting. Every time you run from boredom, you are strengthening the muscle of emotional dependency. Every time you say later, you are teaching your mind that your vision is optional. Focus is not just about what you choose. It is also about what you stop choosing. You are training either way. The question is, what are you training your mind to become? 5. Build rituals that reinforce identity. A focused mind is not built in chaos. It is built through structure, morning routines, work blocks, sacred time without notifications, spaces dedicated to building, rituals that remind your mind who you are. Structure is not restriction. Structure is support. Your future needs a container strong enough to hold it. Focus is a muscle, and when that muscle grows, everything else changes. Your emotions stabilize. Your clarity sharpens. Your confidence strengthens. Your direction becomes undeniable, because a man with a strong focus cannot be manipulated. He cannot be influenced by noise. He cannot be shaken by delay. He becomes unmovable. The world respects the man who has trained his mind. The universe responds to the one whose attention does not wander. Life bends for the one who has learned to hold the vision without breaking. Your focus is your power. Your focus is your weapon. Your focus is the tool through which your destiny takes form. Build it. Protect it. Strengthen it. Train your focus every day, not through force, but through commitment, because when your focus becomes unshakable, your future becomes inevitable. There is a moment in every person's journey where they feel like nothing is happening. They are doing the work, they are holding the vision, they are showing up again and again. But the world looks the same. No progress, no breakthrough, no applause, no reward. This is the point where most people quit, not because they lack potential, but because they misunderstand how reality changes. Reality does not shift when you try once. It does not shift when you try twice. It does not shift when you feel inspired. Reality shifts when your focus remains consistent long enough for the world to reorganize around it. Not intensity, not short-term passion, not motivation that fades. Sustained attention, the unwavering, unbroken, committed focus on the vision you have chosen. The universe does not respond to a spark. It responds to a flame that does not go out, and that flame is built in the quiet, repetitive, ordinary moments where you stay the course while nothing appears to change. This is where most people fail. They confuse delay with denial. Just because the results haven't shown up yet does not mean they aren't forming. Just because the world hasn't responded yet doesn't mean it hasn't already heard you. There is always a delay between inner formation and outer manifestation. This delay is not punishment. It is preparation. It is in this space that your identity is solidified. It is in this space that your belief becomes unbreakable. It is in this space that your focus becomes identity level rather than emotional. If success came instantly, your focus would remain shallow. If breakthroughs were immediate, your identity would be fragile. If life delivered the moment you asked, you would never develop strength The delay is where you prove your vision is real, not to the world, to yourself. Because once you believe without doubt, the universe no longer has resistance to respond to. Understand this: your outer world is always catching up to your inner world. Reality is delayed feedback. So the question is not, why isn't it here yet? The real question is, can I hold the vision long enough for the world to reflect it? This is where the average and the powerful separate. Most people only focus when they feel inspired. The strong focus even when they feel empty. Most people only focus when they see movement. The strong focus even when everything is still. Most people only focus when results are visible. The strong focus because the identity has already changed, and identity always wins. You cannot prevent a man from rising once his identity has shifted. His habits align, his speech aligns, his focus aligns, his standards align, his decisions align, and alignment is the mechanism through which the universe responds. The universe does not give you what you wish for. It gives you what you are aligned with, and alignment is built through sustained focus, not occasional enthusiasm. So hear this clearly: your duty is not to chase results. Your duty is to remain aligned, remain focused, remain intentional, remain committed, remain grounded in your vision even when reality has not yet caught up, because reality is catching up, quietly, gradually, inevitably. The seeds have already been planted. The roots are already forming below the surface. The change is already happening, just not where the eye can see it yet. The question is, will you stay long enough to witness the harvest, or will you walk away because the soil looks unchanged? The universe provides to those who hold the vision through the silence. This is where destinies are built. This is where breakthroughs are earned. This is where transformation becomes irreversible. Do not break your focus. The world is reshaping for you already. Just because you cannot see it yet does not mean the universe is not building it. It is. So remain steady. Remain focused. Remain aligned. Because sustained focus does not just create results. Sustained focus creates reality. There is a version of you the world has not met yet, but you have felt him. The one who does not chase, but chooses. The one who does not react, but directs. The one who does not break, but becomes sharper under pressure. That version of you is not a fantasy. He is not distant. He is not someday. He is being built right now in the silence of your focus, in the discipline you hold when no one sees, in the moments you choose vision over impulse. Every time you return to your focus, you are feeding that identity. Every time you protect your attention, you are stepping further into who you are meant to be. And one day the world will see the transformation. One day they will call it luck. They will call it talent. They will call it fate. But you will know the truth. You built it in private, through attention, through intention, through alignment. Because what you focus on, the universe will provide, and you are now focusing with purpose. You are becoming the architect of your reality, not the observer of your life, but the creator of it. Walk forward with calm certainty. Your future is responding. If this message spoke to the part of you that is rising, comment below, "I choose focus." Not for me, for you to declare it, to anchor it, to embody it. And if you are ready to keep evolving, subscribe to this channel. We build identity here. We build discipline. We build legacy. Together, your next chapter has already begun.